Unit 4 Business Operating Costs. Each company bears business operating costs, for example for the purchase of equipment, materials, services, payrolls, etc. Here below, the costs arising from legal obligations are presented. In terms of accounting, the following criteria apply to classify the costs. 1. Material costs, raw materials, electricity, stationery and the like. 2. Costs of services, production of products, transport, rent, advertising and the like. 3. The depreciation, equipment, vehicles, facilities, etc. A company bears fixed and variable costs. The fixed ones, such as electricity, the internet, telecommunications, utilities, depreciation, licenses, subscriptions etc. remain permanent. The variable ones are changing proportionally to the volume of operations. These include direct or indirect costs associated with a product, such as the cost of raw materials. A sole trader is obliged to pay a Social Security contribution monthly. These include mandatory pension insurance, mandatory health insurance, contribution on health protection at work. Contributions shall be payable by the 15th day of the month for the previous month. The amount base of these contributions are different, depending on the type of independent activity. Data on the amount of base and the total amount of monthly obligation for 2018 year are published on website Croatian Chamber of Craft. Sole trader which keeps its books according to the law on corporation tax calculates salary as an employee. The Social Security transfer paid by a supplementary sole trader includes the following: mandatory pension insurance, mandatory health insurance, contribution on health protection at work. Silence text equals the basis for calculation of contribution amount is personal income obtained according to the annual income tax returns. MZEC equals 4,750 level equals book heading 2. Silence text equals 4,113. Company members who are managers without an employee status MZEC equals 4,750 level equals book heading 2. The Social Security costs of company members who are managers without an employee status, in Croatia or in country with which Croatia has agreement on the avoidance of double taxation, are charged in the same way as sole trader. In 2018, the basis for calculation of contribution amount is 8,020 HRK. Employees in private sector are entitled to salaries. Payment of other allowances employer's free will which is defined in employment contract, regulation or act, transport cost, catering allowance, holiday allowance or annual award. Salary is agreed in the context of a contract of employment. In some industries, there are collective agreements ensuring a minimum level of workers' rights. The minimal salary is defined by law. For 2018, the minimum salary is 3,439.80 HRK gross or 2,751.84 HRK net. Regardless of the amount of salary, Social Security contributions shall be accounted for, namely, Social Security contributions payable from gross wages in the total amount of 20% and employees' contributions payable on gross earnings in the total amount of 17.20%. Example: for an employee receiving a gross salary of 10,000 HRK, the employer pays Social Security contributions, in addition, making the total amount of 11,720 HRK. Catering allowance is taxable part of salary. Transport costs, certain allowances, rewards and personal income are non-taxable till certain amount defined by income tax law. The cost of accounting depends on the type of service, company size, number of employees, etc. There are plenty of providers available on the market, so it is important to opt for a service appropriate for the business. For a small company, the expected price for a reliable accounting service is at 1,100 HRK per month. Incorrect accounting may lead to poor business results or, worse, acting not fully legally, which in turn can have a negative effect on one's credit rating at one's bank and cause difficulties, for example, when applying for a loan. Consequences can be high fine. With accounting, the price should not be the essential criterion of choice of an accountant. Before registering a company, its business address and head office in Croatia shall be decided. This can be done by renting an office or hiring a virtual one. Business premises costs vary depending on the type, quality and location. For example, for an office of 20 square meters from 1,500 HRK in the capital of Croatia, in March 2018. Virtual offices costs range from 350 to 2,000 HRK per month, March 2018, depending on the provider, location and scope of services. In the presented tables 1 and 2 are described approximate monthly costs without purchasing costs of products and services needed for a company without and with one employee. For a company having employees, the fixed costs increase. But beware. It's just a case. You can only calculate operating costs more precisely after obtaining all relevant information from the investor, data on the number of employees, number of received and issued invoices per month and similar. And of course, not all costs are involved in these calculations, as the tables does not include the cost of products and services needed for the company's products. In addition to a regular contract of employment, other forms of employment are possible, such as subcontracting, a copyright contract, a student service. Any entrepreneur should be aware of benefits, limitations and obligations specific for each particular form. More about different types of employment you can read in Module 5.